We're live, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, guys. I'm Brother Doug as always. As always, I am here tonight with the Waking by Yahuwah Assembly with our brothers and sisters here. I have my mom's sister Sharon, sister Marissa's with us, brother Yahusha, and brother Dennis. And we are going to be doing a continuation of the study. Beware of the Wescott and Hort deception, or the Wescott and Hort corruption. Bear with me, guys. Sorry about that. All right. Since Mom, your friend works.
Brother, you're breaking up really bad.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's not good. Good. That can't be good. I don't know what I could do to make it stronger. Let me see here. Maybe it's next. I just know if I stay on the regular Wi-Fi, it is going to screw up. So to prevent that, let me just see here. Maybe I can create a. Hold on a second. All right.
Well, it's almost like watching a bootleg movie.
Okay, let me see, guys. Bear with me for a second. Yeah.
The other one is 130. Yeah, I'll take you Monday. But I looked on my sheet, I was like,
okay. All right. Let's try this here. USB tethering. All right, my mom's kind of disposed right now. I'll help her out here. Yeah, I'm not seeing much of a difference in the connection, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully. I'm not too sure if you guys are going to be able to hear me. I apologize ahead of time.
That's better. That's better though. I don't know what you did,
okay.
But now we can hear you.
The only thing I did was I tethered the phone. I did a USB tethering connection, so that's the only thing I can do. Hopefully it will keep like that. Let's see here. It's not showing a connection. Doesn't make any sense, but all right. Ooh, you're right.
Oh, that's the
all right. So
Sorry.
all right. Let me just help you out. You're nowhere near John here, so let me just be out here. We're gonna go to we're gonna go to John 3:13.
Okay. I'm actually writing John doing my
I'll read my version first and then we go to you. So
okay.
This is something me and brother Yahusha saw earlier in the week here. So where the Byzantine has something showing oneness in this verse, it's a key phrase that's missing in other versions. So it says, "No one has gone up into heaven except he who came down to heaven, the Son of Man," which, by the way, you can go to Proverbs, I think, what is it, 30 verse 4, if I'm not mistaken, which talks about the Father ascended. Here it's talking about Yahusha is only one that has ascended, descended. And if that's not enough, in the Byzantine here is who is in heaven. Mind you, John is being written like as these events, like even though John was written down later, John is writing in the tense of these things happening at that time. So you could make the argument that it's showing that Yahuwah is Yahusha because you have Yahusha somehow simultaneously about to ascend, if I'm not mistaken, where the messengers speak to the disciples, and then it says he who is in heaven. So you have almost like a Genesis 19 verse 24 scenario, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to misspeak here. If I'm not mistaken, this would be before he ascends, right? Is John 3 after he ascends? No, right? So that the Byzantine is actually saying he's in heaven at that moment of John writing this while he's still in his ministry on earth. So, and I'll just show you guys a cross-reference here why it's important, because this perfectly aligns with the Septuagint. In any version that you look at of Genesis 19:24, it says, and if you look very closely, you're going to see what I see here. And Yahuwah rained on Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Yahuwah from heaven, or out of heaven. So you have Yahuwah on the earth, a Yahuwah in heaven simultaneously. So basically we're raised with the understanding of omnipresence and all that. So again, so hopefully that's building a decent foundation so far on why this study is important. Okay. 1 John 1:7. Could you turn to that, Mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, sorry, guys. I already see that the connection is breaking. Again, there's nothing I can do about it. I apologize. I really don't understand that. It's from the hotspot.
1 John 1:7.
Yeah, 1 John 1:7.
Okay.
And you're reading from the NIV, right?
Right.
Okay.
In the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Yahusha, his son, purifies us from all sin.
Yeah. So, and as you can see here, I have my mom's version on the shared screen here, Bible Hub, BibleHub.com. So, as you can see here, it just blood of Yahusha, his son, purifies us from all sin. There's a key title that is attached to Yahusha sometimes that's missing in this verse. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. So even if you go to the Vulgate, by the way, Dewey Reigns is the Vulgate. Okay. It says, we have fellowship one with another, and the blood of Yahusha Messiah, his son, cleanses us from all sin. So the statement is supposed to be saying in full context that the only begotten of Yahuwah is the Messiah. So when you leave out the word Messiah in Hebrew, and unfortunately the Greek has Christos there, but the point is that that title there is supposed to be there, which the Wescott Hort leaves out. So if you have I think if you have a TS 2009, it would be left out as well, if I'm not mistaken. Or actually, no, I have to check my mouth. I think I might have misspoken. I think they actually use the Textus Receptus in this one. So, but see, even on Bible Hub here, if you really want to, guys, right here is Byzantine majority text English translation. So, for those of you that want to test this out, you got it right here. So, okay, and there's many out there that are Byzantine texts that you wouldn't even know that you probably read already. The Geneva Byzantine, King James Byzantine, Greek Orthodox Bible Byzantine, Syriac. I think the Syriac Bible, because their Syriac follows the Byzantine tradition of their Syriac New Testament, so it would be very similar to it. But let me just see here. I want to just check for brothers and sisters that actually have the TS 2009 what it would read here. So it says, if we walk in the light, he is in the light. Now I find that weird. Do all versions say he is in the light, or are they supposed to say he is the light? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into that phrase.
Yeah, I think it always says
okay.
he is in the light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious. Okay. Yeah. I was just curious about that. So, all right, so let's see here. Go to where's the scriptures version. So it says, and the blood of Yahushua Messiah, his son, cleanses us from all sin. So here, the ISR translators, good job. You use the Byzantine here. Unfortunately, they don't do this all the time. Unfortunately, the ISR translators and the Hallelujah scriptures translators have a bias, unfortunately. So there will be times where they don't follow it. For example, what's the one that we had before this? John 3:13, I'll give you an example where they don't follow this. And this is one of my pet peeves about the ISR, why I'm not so gun-ho on the ISR. This is really why. And no one has gone up into heaven except he who came down from heaven, the Son of Man. Doesn't mention that he's in heaven. It just says no one has ascended and descended but the Son of Man.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mention that he's in heaven at that moment. So this is a verse where the ISR, the scriptures 2009, they use the Wescott and Hort, unfortunately, just like the NIV. Let's see here. Brother Dennis, I don't know if you're available to read right now. I'm just calling on you just because I see your mic's unmuted.
Oh, I was just listening.
Okay. Okay, if you're not able to, that's fine. Let's see here. But we're at Philippians 4:23. With your spirit. Wescott Hort says with your spirit. The Textus Receptus, aka Byzantine, says with all of you. So we're going to see here what makes the difference here. How it sounds in both versions. So this is what I'm going to try to do for you guys here. I'm going to try to do a compare view if I possibly can, or a parallel. Let me just fix this here. Yeah. So, okay, here. Where is the actual verse I'm looking at? 4:23. So Philippians 4:23, the favor of our master, Yahushua Messiah, be with you all, so be it. Now, what I find very weird, about this, I don't know if this is a typo. That's a weird way to spell Yahushua's name. That's very weird. I think that might be a typo. Yeah, I've noticed when it comes to like certain fonts, the ISR 1998 had like a issue. So interestingly enough, the ISR 2009 and 1998 actually agree with the Byzantine. Now, now this one, if you go to like the ESV or most of the modern ones, will say, "The favor of the Master Yahushua Messiah be with your spirit," rather than "be with you all." It's like be with. What does that mean? Be with your spirit. So, like, it's I don't know if they're trying to like make it super spiritual by saying that, or it's very weird. Rather than just saying be with you all, it says be with your spirit.
Yeah.
Be with your ruach. It's, I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it sounds weird. And then they leave out "so be it," which I also find interesting. The NIV and all those use the Wescott Hort, which leaves out "so be it," and there should be a footnote.
There's
I
a
think.
footnote. Yep. Some
Yeah.
manuscripts do not have "so be it."
Yeah. So yeah, that's a big issue to me. So that's just another one where one of the reasons why I trust the business so much. Colossians 4:8. The Wescott Hort says "you" or "ours." Byzantine says "he" or "yours." So this is not a big deal. It's vocabulary, it's speech differences. I get that, but you're going to see bigger differences after this. So, and by the way, guys, if there's anyone that wants to read, feel free to unmute yourselves and volunteer. I'm not trying to stop anyone from reading. So just feel free if you guys are able to. Okay, so Colossians 4:8. Colossians 4:8. All right. So I'm going to try my best, guys, to make this as big as possible on this shared screen. Let me just make sure the shared screen is actually working. You know what? I will also want to look at the audio here. Okay, I see what happened here too. The audio was turned down a little bit. All right, I see what happened there. Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure you guys are able to hear me. So, all right. So Colossians 4:8. What does yours say, Mom?
Well, I
No,
just want, because we're coming in the middle of it, just want to mention that he's speaking about Tychicus here that he's sending to them. Okay. I am sending him, because it says him, so I am sending him to you for the express purpose that you may know about our circumstances and that he may encourage your hearts. And I have a footnote that says in concerning with that word our, that he may know about your, so they're leaving a footnote that says it may be your circumstances. So,
Okay. So, all right, looking at the King James here, it says, for the same purpose that he might know your state. I really don't like the word estate there. It's very weird. Okay, let me. There's got to be a more accurate. Yeah, I guess your state of being. Okay. I'm sent to you for the same purpose that he might know your state of being and comfort your hearts. So circumstances or state of being, him to you. Okay, so like I said, it's a language difference. It's not like a huge major difference, you know what I'm saying? But it's just interesting to note that. Sometimes it will be plural versus singular, sometimes it'll be first person versus second person or what have it. You know. All right, to me, this is a big deal right here. Matthew 24:36. This is one of those big ones that like shape theology, you can say. I've seen so many people reject the oneness. Oh, well, the son doesn't know his day of return. So how can he how can he be the father? I'm not trying to make fun of anyone. I'm just saying this is like the argument that I've heard. And you really got to understand here that not all versions say that. Okay, so let's go to 36, right? But of that day and hour knows no man, no, not the messengers of heaven, but my Father only. End of statement. Now, with the Wescott Hort, they decided, the Codex Sinaiticus guys decided, but my Father, actually, never mind. I went with the Byzantine there. Okay. So you actually have to go with a, I'll give the ISR credit so far. What are they, 2 of 4? At least they've done it twice already. That purple Bible that out there has at least done it twice where they sided with the Byzantine. So I'll give them credit for that.
I have an interesting footnote.
Yeah, I know. They cite Mark. So whoever did the Codex Sinaiticus, what they did was they took that anomaly in Mark 13 and made it, basically added it to the text here. That phrase "neither the Son" was added. So wow, even the net doesn't have it. That's interesting to me. So a lot of these modern Bibles you would think would have it there, they don't. Where it's added in there. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, here we go. ESV. They use the Codex Sinaiticus every time. So ESV, it says, concerning that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son. So nor the Son there was not in the original.
That's right.
It was not in the Byzantine, not in the Aramaic, Syriac, Peshitta. You can look in for yourselves if you have a Peshitta. It's not there. Where it is the Codex Sinaiticus. The Wescott Hort text has it. So that the NIV, ESV, those are using the Wescott Hort here. So,
but I have a footnote that says,
in Mark,
early manuscripts do not have nor the Son.
Yeah, they'll also cite Mark 13, and they'll say they'll argue because Mark 13 has it there, neither the Son, that it should be there as well. It's a straw man argument that they put. So yeah, but there's many manuscripts that don't have neither the Son in Matthew 24:36. So those that want to make the argument there, plus not to go too much on a tangent here, if you read the previous verse, it's not even talking about his second coming. If you read the previous verse, it says, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. Okay, right? That's what 35 says. Then going into 36, it says, but concerning of that day. What day is he talking about? He's talking about the day heaven and earth pass away. He's not talking about his second coming, number one. So even if you want to go with the Wescott and Hort, all that's saying is that the Son would not know the day heaven and earth pass away. If you were going to go with the Wescott and Hort, I'm just hypothetically speaking. Okay, so we got Revelations 14:13. What does yours say with in that verse, chapter 14, verse 13 of Revelations? All right, while I'm waiting for you, I'm going to get some water.
Okay. All right, says, then I heard a voice from heaven say, write, Baruch are the dead who die in Yahuwah from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, they will rest from their labor, for their deeds will follow them.
All right, so all right, don't worry, guys, that was water. So yours does not have to me, right? So if we look at Revelations 14:13, right? Show you guys what I'm talking about here. I might have to minimize this window here because it's not showing. Yeah, okay, my bad, guys. It's not showing Revelations for some reason. There we go. Okay. Revelations 14:13. I think I just saw a message. I'll look at that in a second. So Revelations 14:13. I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, write, Baruch are the dead. Okay, so all right, so we got the yeah. All right, so we have the ESV saying, I heard a voice from heaven saying, write this, Baruch are the dead who die in Yahuwah from now on. Baruch indeed, says the Spirit. So that's what the ESV is saying there, that they may rest from their labors, for their deeds follow them. Okay, so I'm trying to see here. I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, write, Baruch are the dead which die in the Master. From here, 4:8 says the Spirit, they may rest from their labors. What's weird is the Restored Name King James sounds almost exact to that other version. So let me see something. I might need to go to the original King James. That's the only thing with these Restored Name translations. They like to go with the Codex Sinaiticus sometimes. I don't know why they do that. Okay, so okay. Actually, I'm wrong. Okay. Either that or I got the wrong verse. Yeah. I might have had the wrong verse. I apologize for that, guys. Let's jump back to Revelations 13 here. No. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, saw a beast rise from out of the sea, having 7 heads, 10 horns, upon his horns 10 crowns, and his heads the name of blasphemy, says the Byzantine. Yours says what? Blasphemy.
Blasphemous name.
Name or names?
Name.
Okay. Because certain versions have names,
Mm.
like as plural.
Hmm.
See, there. So interestingly enough, your version agreed with the King James. I find that interesting since the NIV is so big on the whole older manuscripts thing. I'm kind of surprised. That's interesting to me. So let me
You
just
gotta
see.
remember, mine is an older, not NIV.
Yeah,
too.
I don't think they did that anymore because most of them don't. Yep, the ISR 1998 names rather than name. So that's kind of interesting and kind of changes the prophecy there. Rather than multiple names,
Mhm.
it's like one name. Okay. See here, 13 verse 16. Mm. Mm. Um, let's see here. So Wescott, Hort, Mark, other manuscripts, Marks. And we can go to that really quick. Now, guys, just let me know, like, even if you have to message me or something, let me know if it's not coming on the other screen, please. Okay, so let's go to verse 16 here. All right. And causes all, both small, rich, great, and poor, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads. Now, again, the in thing, that's a whole nother ball game. That's a whole misconception with the mistranslations and all that. Let me see here. Yeah. Now, let me see here. Trying to remember what was different here. Oh, Mark versus Marks.
Oh.
So what's weird is, which doesn't make any sense to me, how you only have one mark on multiple people's foreheads.
Mhm.
Now, this is what's interesting here is that the Wescott Hort, well, actually, let me correct myself. The Wescott Hort says marks. So the problem with that is not everyone would have the same mark of the beast then, right? If the mark is plural and it's talking about multiple people receiving marks with an S at the end, you could make the argument then there's not one mark of the beast. Versus the Byzantine, it says mark. All of them received a mark. You know what I'm saying? So it's like singular versus plural.
Yeah.
So that seems to be the issue there. So I would definitely go with the Byzantine there. Mark, I should say.
Mhm.
What's weird is I wonder if this is a translation error because I don't see any of these using marks. So this is very strange to me.
Because that would mess up what the rest of the
Yeah.
sentence. To receive a mark on his right hand or
Yeah.
on his forehead.
What's interesting is that the Wescott Hort does say marks, but none of them in this particular verse use it, or very few of them use that rendering. So it seems like the majority of the people knew not to use that rendering. Or maybe I don't know. Am I misreading that? What it said? Let me see here. Revelations 13:16. Okay, no, my bad. The Westcott Horde does say mark. So other manuscripts say marks, plural, which is very strange because I don't see any manuscripts saying marks, like plural. I don't see any manuscripts doing that. So that's very strange. All right, so forehead versus foreheads. Now, is yours plural for forehead or singular?
What verse are we in?
Same verse 16.
Okay. Oh, a mark on his right hand or on his forehead.
Yeah. So what's weird here is the Westcott Horde has forehead singular.
Oh yeah, mine's forehead singular. Yes.
And the Byzantine says foreheads. What's interesting here is the language here would. The only reason I sided with the Byzantine with foreheads is because the context is talking about everyone that receives this mark. You can't have like everyone having one forehead. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying language wise, it kind of makes more sense for it to be plural. Maybe I'm reading that wrong, but for it to just say forehead, it would sound kind of weird since you're talking about everyone on the earth that takes the mark. So, obviously you would have more than one forehead being talked about. So to me, that sounds just a little strange. Like the way it reads off without knowing the context, someone would put together that it's just talking about one person's forehead, or somehow all of them would share the same forehead. It's just the way it's worded is weird to have it singular.
I just read it like they're talking about each person individually.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
of course, a person's going to have one forehead.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe I'm reading too much into that one. So that could just be me, but I just find that weird that one is singular, one is plural. So Revelations 12:8. Now this is weird. I ain't gonna lie to you. So it says, and prevailed not, neither was there found any more place in heaven. Now, what's weird about the Byzantine here, it doesn't mention he or them. It just says no place was ever found in heaven. So it makes it ambiguous. The Westcott Horde says them, which would make sense.
It's both, actually.
It's including. Well, what I mean is the word "them" is not in every manuscript. So
the beginning of verse 8, I have, but he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven.
Oh, because the Westcott Horde, like a text reading would say, they did not prevail, neither was there a place found for them anymore in heaven. So that would be like collectively as a group, like Satan and the 1/3.
Right.
All collectively. Versus the Byzantine here, this is the one area where I would say the Byzantine doesn't give you enough detail. It just says, and prevailed not, neither was there a place found any more in heaven. Now, obviously, with the context, you can understand what's being said, but it's just the sentence structure is very weird, and it's like leaving out words there. So that's the one time that it seems like that version is better. So now what I want to look at here is some extra witnesses about this. Let me see here. And the great dragon. Okay, so we go to verse 8 here. And and did not prevail, neither was there a place found for them. Okay, so them. At least the Aramaic has the them there, but it doesn't have the they in the beginning of the verse. That's a little weird to me. That's a little strange.
Yeah, because see, verse 7, what I'm seeing is talking about the dragon.
Yeah.
So we go from that into verse 8,
Yeah.
the he being the dragon.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can argue that they don't need like the pronouns in the next verse, but the Wescott Hort is like it seems to be the only one that has they in there and them in there, letting you know who it's talking about. It's a little strange that the other ones don't have it. Revelations 11 verse 1, Byzantine reads, and the messenger stood saying, instead of someone said. So this is where I go back to agreeing with the Byzantine here, because the problem here is it's not telling you who's speaking in the Wescott Hort. So it just says, and read like a rod was given to me, someone said, rise and measure Yahuwah's temple and altar and those that worship in it. Where if you look at the Byzantine, it will say, and a reed was given to me like a rod, the messenger stood, saying, arise and measure the temple of Alua and the altar and them that worship in it. So basically the Byzantine and the Aramaic Peshitta is telling you who's speaking. Rather than saying someone, it's saying, the messenger told them this. 11 verse 4. So now we're going to go to 11 verse 4. No. These are the two olive trees and two candlesticks which stand before. So the Wescott Hort and other versions like it will say master of all the earth. This is where the Aramaic in this instance agrees with the Wescott Hort. Now, if you look at like a Byzantine here, let's go to the King James. It says before the Alua or Elohim of all the earth. So it's like it's a subtle difference, but it is a difference. Master of the earth versus Elohim of the earth. So, it's a little bit more higher of esteem in the Byzantine. Verse 8, Byzantine has our, Wescott Hort has theirs. Again, that's just difference in speech. Try to fast forward here. Verse 9, Byzantine has tombs, Wescott Hort has tomb. Oh, no, my bad. I got tongue. Yeah, no, I said the right thing there. 11 verse 13, Byzantine has day, Wescott Hort has hour. Now, to me, this is a big difference because this could change the way someone reads this prophecy. Let's go to verse 13 here in this same chapter. So the Byzantine reads as follows: in the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of the men 7,000, and remnant were all right. Not all right, affrighted, meaning terrified, and gave esteem to the Elohim of heaven. Now, what's weird here is that one says the same hour. Yours, Mom, would say
At that very hour.
really?
Yes.
Why is it that there? This is what's kind of crazy is that they're not taking the Wescott Hort in this verse. That's kind of funny. Okay, so which one says day? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. Let me just check this real quick. It might be okay, so it's saying other manuscript reads day instead of hour. So okay, I don't have one available to show you the difference in day. So I think we'll just have to move on from that one because I can't really show you it. So according to the New Heart English Bible footnotes, there's other manuscripts that would say day instead of hour. So let me just fix that. So I'll just put other manuscripts. Now, just want to see here. If it would say day, I want to see how that would read. And at that day, there was a earthquake, and a tenth of the city fell, and 7,000 people were killed in the earthquake, and the rest were terrified and gave esteem to Yahuwah, or to the Alua of heaven. Now, the only problem with saying day, it makes it a little too generalized. It doesn't tell you what time of day; it just says at that day.
Yeah.
Revelations 11:17. Wescott Hort omits who is coming. So this is talking about Yahusha. He's the first and the last, and who is coming. Now that's how the Byzantine would read. Now, if we look at the Codex Sinaiticus here, it says, "We give thanks to you, Yahuwah Alua Almighty, who is, who was, for you have taken your great power and began to reign." So it doesn't mention him returning.
No.
So, which, if you guys know anything about the Gnostics don't believe in the Yahusha of the scriptures. One of the things they'll deceive people with, they'll say that Yahusha never ever said he was returning. This is the stuff they'll say to people. So it seems like the Codex Sinaiticus, whoever wrote this manuscript, had a bias. Because as you can clearly see in all the other versions, it would say, "We thank you, Yahuwah, the Master Yahuwah Alua Almighty, who is and who has been for you." Okay, so no, there's even the Aramaic doesn't have it. That is very strange, because that really should be there. Wow. So all the other manuscripts don't have it except the Byzantine. The Byzantine is the only one that has it there. So it would say, "We give thanks to you, Yahuwah Alua Almighty, which are and was and are to come." That are to come has been taken out in most of the manuscripts. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because you have taken to you your great power and have reigned. So, guys, this is why I trust in the Byzantine so much. That's why people make fun of me. "Oh, you're using the King James for the..." This is the reason. Because a lot of these other versions, if they're taking from the Wescott Hort in these verses, they're taking stuff that have been corrupted. So this is why it's such a big deal. The last one we have here is Revelations 11, verse 19. Wescott Hort says his. Byzantine says Yahuwah's. So the reason I think this is important, especially for trying to reason with those that don't believe in the oneness yet, is because you have certain manuscripts that change Yahuwah's name to his. And they try to separate Yahusha from the Father. So, for example, if you had an ESV, it would read, then, okay, actually, no. The ESV actually, that's interesting. They don't use his, they use Elohim's temple. That's kind of, the ESV, that's interesting. So they don't go with the Wescott Hort in that verse. But if you did, just try to show you guys one version that would. Where's the ISV here? I know the net probably will. All the new ones probably will. Try to look here. It's interesting how none of them seem to go with the Wescott Hort here. I find that interesting. Unless I mistyped in my let me just see here. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong. See something here. Now that's weird. I could have swore there was a version that did that. Oh, my bad, guys. I'm looking at the wrong part of the verse. My bad. So it's supposed to say the ark of his covenant. Okay, my bad. My bad. So it does say it there. So the his is not talking about the temple. The his is the covenant. So, which is not a big deal, but it is different from the Byzantine. So the Wescott Hort would say the temple of Elohim was opened in heaven and the ark of his covenant was visible. Versus, if you look at the King James, it says, and there was seen in his temple the ark. Oh, that's interesting. Wait, all of them say that. Okay, it seems like there are other manuscripts that say Yahuwah's. Huh. All right, my bad about that, guys. So according to this footnote here, other manuscripts which I don't have available to me would say Yahuwah's instead of his. So there are other manuscripts that would say it would say in the temple the ark of Yahuwah's covenant rather than his covenant, that it would make it more specific. Unfortunately, I don't have those versions with me to show you. So it seems like all of them say his. So unfortunately, I can't show you that. So oh, here we go. Okay, there is one. The Greek Orthodox Bible has it read like that. Okay. So the Greek Orthodox Bible would have, in the Ark of the Covenant of Yahuwah, not his covenant, the covenant of Yahuwah appeared in his temple.
Mhm.
And there were lightnings and voices and thunders and great hail. So some of them like to say just his covenant rather than the covenant of Yahuwah. So yeah. So very interesting, guys. So hopefully those was edifying to you guys. Hopefully you learned something here. As I always say, go home. No. Read your scriptures, read Yahuwah's word, and test all things, guys. And Yahuwah willing, Yahusha willing. See you guys tomorrow. Shabbat.